sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
We welcome you to a packed house at Tropicana Field. It's opening day 2016, and the Tampa Bay Rays will play host to the Eastern Division champions in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball, game number 1 of a brand new season with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. So good to have you looking in again today. Optimism reigning here opening day, and the Rays think with good reason they like their pitching and they like their offense.
Well, and when this team coming out of spring training, the first thing you think about is health. And outside of Brad Boxberger, you have a relatively healthy team coming into the season. But more important than that, you have a motivated team. A motivated team, the optimism that you speak about, and I'm going to tell you something, that has the makings. You could have a real special summer.
And for the second straight year, it's going to be Chris Archer on the hill. An opening day assignment. Many people think this could be the year that he really steps forward into that truly elite class.
Well, listen, he made a big jump last year. When you look at his numbers from 2015, Chris Archer took it to another level personally. I mean, career high in innings pitched with 212, second in the American League with 252 strikeouts. He limits the walks, and he does it following a relatively simple process. Power fastball commanded to both sides of the plate, maybe the best slider in the game, sprinkle in an occasional changeup, and go to dominate the opposition, always in attack mode.
Two very young and talented pitchers go at it today. Marcus Stroman will get the opening day assignment for the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. Rays and the Blue Jays coming up just moments away. Coming season is filled with optimism, led by a starting rotation that has its sights set on being the best in the game. The staff is backed up defensively by reigning Platinum Glove winner Kevin Kiermaier in center field. Offensively, the Rays have bolstered their lineup with several new faces, but once again, Evan Longoria will be the anchor. Today, the quest begins. The quest to get to October and hoist the World Series trophy. Back at Tropicana Field, this is where it begins in 2016. Spring training now, a memory, and it's going to be Chris Archer taking on this mighty lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays. For the Rays, opening at home, just a short stand here against the Toronto Blue Jays for 4 games before they hit the road and go to Baltimore. But today it's Archer and the Rays against the Toronto Blue Jays. Take a look at the starting lineups presented by your Southern Ford dealer. For the Blue Jays, Kevin Pillar is going to lead it off, followed by Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista. Edwin Encarnacion, who had a very abbreviated spring training as the DH. Tulowitzki in short, Colabello in first, Michael Saunders in left. Russell Martin will catch, and Ryan Goins will hit ninth. He'll be the second baseman for Toronto.
Well, great-handed pitcher Chris Archer making the opening day start here for the Tampa Bay Rays, and you see renewing acquaintances against the Toronto Blue Jays. 15 career starts, a 5-3 record, 3.26 earned run average. And when you think about series against teams in your division, you play 6 series a year. He saw them in every single one last season. Let's take a look at the defense and see how it's going to line up behind Chris Archer here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And across that infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Brad Miller, Logan Forsythe, and Logan Morrison, with Hank Conger behind the plate.
Kevin Cash, the Rays manager, starting his second season. Still the youngest manager in the major leagues. Last year, finishing 4th with a mark of 80 and 82. And the skipper, John Gibbons of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's managed more games for the Blue Jays in his 2 stints put together than anybody else except Cito Gaston. Fun place to be. We've waited all winter for opening day, and here it is. Archer in those 6 appearances against the Blue Jays last year, 3-2. Boy, that's a lot of appearances against a team to see you 6 times.
Well, there are no secrets. They know what Chris Archer's going to try and do today. It comes down to who executes better.
Well, there's Kevin Pillar. The Blue Jays coming off a 93 and 69 season. A new season this year in the first pitch upstairs. That first pitch presented by Pinch-A-Penny. Fastball from Chris Archer to start the year. Mike Everett is the home plate umpire, the crew chief. Paul Immel at first, Lance Diaz at third, Tim Timmons at second. Brad Miller is going to get the first opportunity, and the throw right there. Logan Morrison, those two teamed up last year in Seattle. And as you know, a lot of question about Miller playing shortstop this spring.
Well, let's get some of the answers out of the way right away. Second pitch of the ball game, right to Brad Miller, throws it over. Logan Morrison swallows it up, out number 1.
Well, Josh Donaldson, and boy, what a difference he has made. The Blue Jay lineup, a very formidable lineup to begin with, and you drop this guy in there with those numbers coming off last year. Well, they're MVP numbers. He's aggressive and fouls that first pitch away.
And what's so impressive is when you look at those numbers, the home runs, the runs batted in, you talk about the lineup and how deep it is, you're hitting in the 2-hole. You can't even get into the middle of the lineup with those numbers.
Another thing about this Blue Jays lineup, when you look at where their power comes from, these right-handed hitters, Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion, the big guys, and how they match up against lefties and righties, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. I mean, they are very effective against right-handed pitching as well.
They do a great job of staying in there. They don't bail. They see enough right-handed pitching. They've got one thought in mind: get the ball airborne.
Nice pitch right there. That could be an equalizer.
Well, especially when you're throwing it behind in the count. The previous two fastballs, Chris Archer missed up out of the zone. You know, that could be just a little bit overamped at being opening day. Him and Hank Conger work well there with the slider to get right back in this count.
And Donaldson fouls that one off, reaching out there to stay alive.
That pitch for Chris Archer, that slider, you know, some have said maybe the best slider in Major League Baseball, and Chris Archer used it more than any other starting pitcher last year. And when you get to 2 strikes, you talk about his strikeout numbers, he goes to almost 60% with 2 strikes in that slider, a true wipeout pitch.
Fastball to run the count full.
And you notice all the fastball misses have been up. They've been out over the plate, but up about head high. You get a little jittery, maybe not even jittery, you're just so amped up on opening day, you start to rush that delivery just a little bit.
That's a base hit as he reaches out, sends it into right. Well, the Buick GMC big matchup, and this is a big part of it coming up right now. Jose Bautista followed by Edwin Encarnacion against Archer. And Archer has fared very well against these 2 power hitters.
Well, listen, that's how you control this lineup. He's got good overall numbers against the Toronto Blue Jays throughout his career, even last season. The way to do that, you've got to neutralize their power, and he's been able to.
Too high. Well, you have Donaldson at first. He hit 41 home runs last year. Jose Bautista hit 40, and Encarnacion behind him 39. Up again.
He's got to try to stay back over that rubber just a tick longer, because right now he's really jumping towards home plate, and as you can see, the fastball is staying elevated out of the zone, and you want to work the kinks out with that pitch right away.
Slider, and Bautista lays off. 3-0. He did go.
Yeah, he's going to have the green light. So ready for that fastball. This one up and out of the zone. He tries to hold up and cannot.
That will be a foul ball and heads for the stands. A towering souvenir to take the count to 3-2. It's Encarnacion on deck. Runner on the move, and ball 4. So Bautista laid off that pitch, breaking down and away. 2 men on.
It just didn't stay in the zone long enough. You know, struggling right now with fastball command, and once you get to that full count, you're thinking slider. If he keeps that pitch in the zone a little bit longer, maybe you get the chase, but it was low and out early. That's what allowed Bautista to take it rather easily.
Edwin Encarnacion missed most of spring training with a strained oblique. He had some physical issues and then played the minor league game. Hit a home run his first time. And he stepped in there, and that's not unusual with this guy. Headed for the upper deck, foul. It's 1-1.
And that's why early in the season you wonder, Encarnacion, what will his timing be like? Because with an oblique injury, you're obviously limited in your swings. You're limited in facing live pitching. He got a week of it in the minor leagues, but where is he going to be with rhythm, timing, tempo here in the first few games?
That will give Archer the advantage in the count. 1-2. Single by Donaldson, the walk to Bautista after the ground out by Pilar. Troy Tulowitzki on deck. This one bounding away from Conger, moving both men into scoring position.
Now that was another breaking ball into the dirt. Hank Conger, let's see, the slider starts low, ends up lower. It skips off the plate, and when it skipped off the plate, that almost picks up speed. It clanked off the glove of Hank Conger and bounded far enough away that the Blue Jay now have 2 runners in scoring position.
Wild pitch. 2-2 the count to Encarnacion. Into center field. Both men will score. Kiermaier holds Encarnacion to the single base, but the Blue Jays pick up 2 runs right here in the first.
Well, there was a nice job by Donaldson earlier in the inning, taking a slider the other way, and a really nice job there by Edwin Encarnacion. I'll tell you what, for being one of the preeminent power hitters in the game, he does a nice job with 2 strikes. That ball on the outer half, down and away, right on the outside corner actually, but look at the reach, able to have tremendous plate coverage and poke that ball out into right center field.
Troy Tulowitzki takes the fastball for a strike. So Encarnacion, who drove in 111 runs last year, drives in Donaldson and Bautista to open the scoring in this game. 1-1 now.
For Chris Archer, you're just trying to weather the storm. You're waiting for the mechanics to click into place. Chris Archer, very good mechanically, typically. Little out of sorts here in the early going, trying to find it.
Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tulowitzki combined last year with Colorado and Toronto to hit .280 and pick up 17 home runs. He's off the pitch up. A lot of misses up there.
That's the thing. You very rarely see that with Chris Archer. You know, he creates a great angle on the mound, is able to drive the ball downhill when he wants to. He'll elevate every now and then, but these obviously not what he's looking for. And there's been far too many. Like I said, just a little amped up, rushing towards home plate. Well, that body starts towards home plate before the arm can get up on top. It never gets to the proper release point.
Back into the screen. It's Chris Colabello, the first baseman, on deck. Well, he fit right into this lineup. Colabello. And another full count. So deep counts. 3 of the last 4 hitters have gone full. And Encarnacion hit a 2-2 pitch for a base hit, driving in both runs. So Archer at 26 pitches. Close, but he missed. And now he walks Tulowitzki.
And you can see Chris out there trying to make the adjustment. That's going to bring a visit by pitching coach Jim Hickey. A lot of misses up above the zone with the fastball. Right there, he comes with one in a full count. A little bit too low. Can't not find that happy medium quite yet.
You talk about being overamped. Opening day or second assignment doing that. And as disciplined as you may be mentally and physically, it is a major challenge to get all of that under control.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I feel like that up here in the booth. I mean, you're geeked up on opening day. I don't care where you're at. And if you get that starting assignment, the toughest thing that you have to do is to be able to take those deep breaths and stay within yourself and not try to do too much. And that's easier said than done.
So Hickey's comments out there, as much emotional as mechanical?
I would think so. I would think that there's a mechanical tweak that he's trying to make with him, but a lot of it is going to be upstairs.
A new hitter and Chris Colabello, and there's a strike. It appeared to be a quality pitch right there, first pitch. That's what he's looking for. Got to play the other way. Now he has the count running in his favor.
And he followed the first pitch breaking ball with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner knee high. That's the best fastball he's thrown all inning long, and now he's 0-2.
And he got it. Boy, you talk about three great pitches right after the visit. Those are the best three pitches we've seen.
No question. He got ahead. Quality fastball, strike two. Even better slider for strike three. This is where that plays off that previous fastball. It's in the same spot, and then it disappears.
So now he has a left-handed bat up there, and Michael Saunders. And the Rays, if they could get Saunders, would be happy to get out of this. Spot him 2 runs. Let Archer find his stride and carry on. A ball, no strikes. Saunders with a knee injury last year missed almost all of the season, got 9 games in, and they had hoped he would play left field for them. That prevented that. That's a strike at the knees, and it's 1-1.
And he's coming off a very good spring training. 4 home runs in spring for the Blue Jays. So you've got a hitter that may be a little bit down in the order, but is locked in right now.
1-2, and it would appear the Rays have a pitcher out there starting to get locked in. Good pitches here to Colabello and Saunders.
Be a real confidence boost. Be able to finish this inning off in style and then go regroup.
All of this after the visit from Jim Hickey. Good pitch away from limiting the damage. And he did it. Struck him out. Boy, some nice pitching there to the last 2 hitters. Blue Jays scored 2, and the Rays are coming in to hit. coming to hit on the bottom of the first. Their lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers and Logan Forsythe in the leadoff spot this year, followed by Logan Morrison and Evan Longoria. The newcomer, Corey Dickerson, the DH, hits cleanup with Desmond Jennings, number 5. Brad Miller, the shortstop, 6. Then Steven Souza Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, and Hank Conger.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Toronto Blue Jays, making his opening day start, right-hander Marcus Stroman. And you see the numbers from last year. Interesting year. Tore his ACL in his left knee coming out of spring training. Missed almost the entire season. Comes back in September. And how good was he? 4 starts, 4-0, 1.67, and that led to 3 starts in the postseason where he was 1-0. He may be small in stature, but he's got tremendous stuff.
Yeah, he's 5'8", but boy, can this guy pitch. You know, they scout pitchers, as you well know. They like him a little taller than this. It's tough to catch the attention of scouts if you're 5'8", but his arm did all the speaking that he needed. So here's Logan Forsythe. Takes the first pitch for a ball. So Logan up after leading the Rays in hitting last year and finishing second on the team in home runs and runs batted in, is the leadoff man now.
For Kevin Cash, it was real simple. He was our leading hitter last year. His approach was consistent throughout the season, and by putting him in the leadoff spot, you're going to get another 60, 70 at-bats. Then he was further down the order.
2-1. Well, he'd only really done that a handful of times in his career, lead off. And he was talking about making that transition because it's different leading off than hitting down in the lineup. And he said the biggest challenge he thinks he will have is the one he's facing right now when he's home. He said, you're on the road, you lead off. Well, you've got time before you step in there. But you're out there playing second base. You hustle in. We're trying to speed up time between innings anyway. And before you know it, you're in the batter's box leading off. You've got to do some quick thinking. Oh, what a pitch that was for strike 3 call. And Forsythe thought that might have been down and away.
Right at the bottom of the zone, and there's a lot of late movement to Marcus Stroman's 2-seamer. And here it is on the outside corner, late sink, a perfect pitch.
So a very good pitch by Stroman. Now Logan Morrison. There's a strike. Rays think they have some pop in the order out of the second position now. And Morrison, you see 17 home runs last year with the Mariners. Over the mound and back of the bag where Tulowitzki is. And he throws out Morrison.
Well, let's take a quick look at that Toronto Blue Jay defense, see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we have Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, and Jose Bautista. Across that infield, third to first, Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Ryan Goins, and Chris Colabello with Russell Martin behind the plate.
Not a lot of at-bats in this Rays lineup against Stroman, but Longo's 3 for 5 against him. That's fair. He's 4 for 6. Around first and on his way to second. Bautista picks it up beyond the bullpen mound, and Longoria has a 2-base hit.
Boy, just able to squeeze that ball fair. Goes after the first pitch. And this ball may be off the plate, but good plate coverage, goes the other way. You see the defense pulled around a little bit. They're going to, of course, give Evan that right field line all day long. He takes advantage there.
Paul Immel right there on the call on that line, back of first. And Corey Dickerson now stepping in. Dickerson hitting cleanup. The Rays hope that his presence behind Longoria will also help Evan. One strike on the foul ball.
Well, I think that it can only help. Like you said, a little protection. He's got a lot of power. You talk about watching him take batting practice, foul line to foul line power. We saw the early home run in spring training that was 539 feet. He's got some juice.
Down to right side, diving stop, Colabello, throw to first, will be in time. Colabello, a nice play, and Stroman got over to cover the bag to prevent the Rays from getting on the board. A double and a man left at second for the Rays, and good glove work here by the big first baseman. 2-0 Toronto. Today's Rays broadcast can make you a winner. Enter now for a chance at today's Rays Up to Win prize. 4 Rays club tickets and 4 batting practice passes. The winner will be shown live on air in the 8th inning. So visit RaysBaseball.com/big giveaway to enter. Rays Up. Chris Archer made 34 pitches in the first and will open facing the catcher Russell Martin in the second inning. Line drive in and out of the mid, and Morrison deflecting to Forsythe. Archer over there, got him. How about that play? Archer hustling over, and Forsythe picking up Morrison.
Archer didn't assume, and nobody quit on that play, and that's why it got made. Looked like it was just going to be a line drive to Logan Morrison off the glove, and look at Archer hustling over. Logan Forsythe scrambling after that. Well, this was a nice job all around to record this out.
Very close over there at first base to get Martin, but get him they did. And great effort on the part of both Logan Forsythe and Chris Archer. Play's not over till it's over.
And that's the attitude that you have to take. It's really a team effort. Looks like it's going to be a line drive right into the glove of Logan Morrison, out number 1. But you can't assume that. And so you get Forsythe, of course, Chris Archer covering, and the play gets made.
Off the bottom of the stands for strike 2 on that foul ball.
And that was a good changeup there by Chris Archer. You remember he ended the first inning with a couple of good sequences to finish off the inning, the last 2 outs. And then all of a sudden here, making some good pitches against Goins, 0-2.
Close. A close take. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He was trying to go up with that fastball. It ends up crowding Ryan Goins, which is why he didn't pull the trigger, just off.
Uh, 2-2. Top of the order, Kevin Pillar on deck. There's strike 3 call. Got that one in.
And Ryan Goins wondering if that pitch, I think he was thinking that was in off the plate, a sharp breaking slider, and just catches the inside corner. Here it is. And maybe just a hair off according to Fox Tracks, but way too close to take.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Kevin Pillar. Strike call. Drops that one in there.
Another changeup, and so he's starting to sprinkle that pitch in. Second time through the lineup. A lot of fastballs, a lot of sliders. Give him something else to think about.
Up with the fastball, and it's 1-1. Saw that strikeout list of Archer. That's a club record. He finished second in strikeouts and established a Tampa Bay Rays club record last year. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ten pitches into the second inning. That's a base hit. Souza tries to cut it off. Pillar's going to dig for 2, and the throw will not be in time.
Souza Jr. has a strong arm, but he was falling away from second base, making that throw, just couldn't get enough on it. And Pillar able to sneak in. Nice job going the other way against the breaking ball. This one stays up, and he just pokes it. When you see it, you cut down the swing, let that ball travel into the zone, then shoot it into right field. You see Souza Jr. there, just could not step into that throw. Had a chance.
There's Josh Donaldson. Here's the strike. Donaldson at 31 years of age. Shot shortstop. Miller's throw right there. Pillar left at second. Blue Jays do not score. We go to the Rays half of inning 2. 2-0 Toronto. On opening day, Stu Sternberg in the background there chatting with Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. We'll have a chance to talk with the Major League Baseball Commissioner in the bottom half, or top half of the third, I guess, as we go to the bottom of the second. So the Commissioner will be dropping in the third inning. Here's Desmond Jennings. There's the Rays trying to get on the board against Marcus Stroman. This pitch is a ball. One. Stroman right through the first, gave up a 2-out double to Longoria, but made only 10 pitches. Two and one.
On this Rays lineup, what they want to do is they want to force Marcus Stroman up into the zone. He wants to stay down. We already saw the late sinking action on his fastball. Gets a lot of ground balls. You can see everything right down at the bottom of the zone. So you want to see him elevated. That sink will start to leave the fastball. The higher up in the zone it gets, that's when you have your best chance to do some damage.
Headed to short. Tulowitzki makes the play. That's the first out. You can't forget that Stroman came up in 2014 and won 11 games. Most of that as a starting pitcher. He made 20 starts that year, did have a save, but he went 11-6. And his career numbers all across the board are impressive. Brad Miller, his first official at bat in a Rays uniform, and he takes a strike. Brad out of the Orlando area. It's 1-1. Down in the count. Ball, 2 strikes. And 2.
The Rays feel good about the offense that they believe that Brad Miller will bring them based on his track record. He worked extensively with Tom Foley in the spring on the defense.
Popped up left side. Donaldson out from third. Still fair. 2 gone. Yeah, he did early in the spring make a couple of errant throws, and Tom Foley was right there with him and spent a good amount of time with him in the spring.
He's a good athlete out there at shortstop, and when you're talking about throwing woes out in the field, typically it revolves around footwork. You know, the throwing motion is there. You get your feet in the right place, the throw is usually on line.
Steven Souza Jr. The strike. Well, we saw that on the ball hit by Donaldson in the top half of this inning. He just was right there and didn't even think about it, just made the play.
And that's really the way that you have to approach it, because the issues have been when he's had too much time. You know, if it's a get it, throw it situation, you don't worry about it. It's when you have time, all of a sudden there's an extra crow hop in there and things get a little sideways from time to time.
1-1 to Souza Jr. Too close. 2 balls and a strike. Jennings grounded out, and Miller popped out back a third. And the fastball fouled back. 2-2. Rays facing Marcus Stroman in the opener. And a man at second with 2 outs in the first on the Longoria double. That's a base hit, punched up the middle. The Rays get their second base runner.
And that was a really nice job by Souza Jr. on a slider that backed up a little bit, stayed out over the plate. A good two-strike approach. He doesn't overstride, doesn't overswing, and stays in the middle of the field.
Now Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier with 5 career at-bats against Stroman, a couple of hits, one of those a double. So the Rays for the second straight inning get a base runner with 2 outs.
This is the guy that I think could really make a jump this year offensively. You know, we saw his offensive game really come along last year, especially against left-handed pitching. The way that he stays in there, doesn't bail. That's only going to help him against righties too.
One.
You start to think of the possibilities, how many extra base hits he steals because of his aggressiveness out of the batter's box. Maybe the ability to drop down a bunt. A lot of ways that he can hurt you offensively.
And I think as the season progressed last year, we started to see a more disciplined approach in the batter's box.
Yep. Now you get an off season of all of the adjustment that you made. You know, marinate, think about it. You work on it during spring, and you got a chance to make that big jump.
Up right side. That's Colabello trying to get the tag, and he is safe. Safe the call by Paul Emmel. Kiermaier got down there. Colabello trying to tag him, make the play unassisted. And Kiermaier avoiding the tag. And boy, you talk about some quick and shifty movement.
And he can do this, Dwayne. He can outdance you to the bag. Little juke, miss tag, avoid, and then slip that foot in there. Colabello close with the tag of the glove on the bag. Yeah, he definitely missed him there. But now it's a race to the bag. Foot glove. Ooh. I don't like that angle. Doesn't look good right there.
Yeah, John Gibbons would like to take a look at that. So we will do that for the first time this year. Mike Everett joined by Paul Emmel. Did Colabello get that big mitt back to the bag before Kiermaier could get his foot on the bag?
That last angle that we saw, it looked like he maybe was able to do just that. He misses the tag and then immediately heads to the bag as Kevin Kiermaier tries to get his foot to the bag. Let's take a look. I think they got it. Pretty clear on that one too.
Well, this is anything but routine down there at first base. Rays had Souza at first, Souza Jr. When Kiermaier made that tap to the right side, very interesting. The initial call safe. And they're ready to break it up. And he's out. So the Rays lose that one. We're through 2. We'll be joined by Commissioner Rob Manfred when we return. Toronto Blue Jays, and we are pleased and privileged to have the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, join us. And Commissioner, great to have you in the booth with us.
Great to be here.
We were about to turn over that last play to you and let you call it and figure that one out.
You know, it was a nice quick replay. Did you notice that? Pretty snappy. Yes. It was fast.
Yeah.
It was good.
And that's one of the things we want to talk with you about. The whole time of game initiative that's gone on over the last year continues this year. Jose Bautista leads off. So what else can we look for?
Well, this year I think that you'll see two things. The inning break clocks are going to be tighter, shorter, and we're going to be focused on the length of visits to the mound. I think pace of game is one of those things that each and every year you need some set of changes that keep people focused on making the game move along as quickly as possible, and those are the two we're going to be thinking about for this year.
2-1 to count on Bautista.
You know, one of the other things, obviously this year, the slide rule comes into play out at second base, you know, for good reason. You saw the injury that happened last year with Chase Utley and all of that. But, you know, what was the thought process in making that rule and then also changing the fact that the neighborhood play can now be reviewed?
Right. Well, we began with a very fundamental proposition that player safety ought to always be first. And the play around second base where, you know, somebody goes in late with no possibility of actually tagging and or staying on the bag, just seemed that play had too great a risk associated with it. Once we cleaned up that part of the rule, it seemed that the justification for allowing the neighborhood play to continue went down, and the changes really worked together, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, let me ask you this. Was there any thought going in, because now with that neighborhood play being allowed to be reviewed, you're going to force some second basemen, especially on the play where they can't see, they're going to have to hang there just a tick longer. And even with a safe, clean slide, you're going to flip some guys, you would think.
Look, on balance, we think that the combination of the two changes will still make second base safer, but I recognize what you're saying. Obviously, you eliminate the neighborhood play, you got to stay just a second longer. But we're hoping that the combination of the rules will prove to be safer for players around the bag. And, you know, it'll be one of those things just like with the catcher rule when we went to that. There's going to be a couple of rough spots at the beginning, as there is with any change on the field. But I think if you keep your eye on the player safety issue, you're probably headed in the right direction.
Yeah. And all of this with an eye toward keeping the game, number one, safe, as you mentioned, but also more appealing. And that's what the whole time initiative is about in terms of marketing on the international side of making this game appealing. Even more so than it is. Encarnacion out on strikes there. You know, over the recent past, the game has received exposure in markets like Australia, Mexico, Panama, the recent trip to Cuba. What would you hope that the effect would be of all of that?
Well, it's short-term, long-term for us. Short-term, we have broadcasting arrangements in all those countries. We think when you take the product live there, let people see it, that it increases the value of those broadcast rights. It's good for our business. Over the long haul, we want to experiment with markets with an eye towards sustained play in those markets. And by sustained play, I either mean, you know, a few series in a year, or maybe a team located in a country outside the United States and Canada.
This is Troy Tulowitzki with a runner at first and one out. How about Europe? You know, and I say that because we actually receive a lot of emails and all of that from fans who watch us all over Europe, from France and the United Kingdom, you name it, there are fans there.
Yeah, there's absolutely there are baseball fans in Europe. There's some countries, Netherlands and Italy, most notably, where a fair amount of baseball is actually played. We think that is another market where we need to go put our foot in the water. I think the most likely site in Europe is probably London. There are facilities there that would be workable in terms of playing major league games. and we are anxious to do that.
Nice 2-0 slider for a strike to Tulowitzki.
What about some of the initiatives with the youth? I mean, you know that every sport, any sport, is only as good as the next generation. So what is Major League Baseball doing to guarantee that the youth, in the United States and really around the world at this point, love baseball and want to become involved?
Well, the key to young people becoming avid fans is making sure they play the game as kids. And that's why we've spent a lot of time and effort on the Play Ball initiative. We're trying to work with some great partners in the youth space, most notably Little League, Cal Ripken Baseball, to make sure that as many kids as possible are playing our great game. We have the RBI program and the Urban Youth Academies that are designed to provide opportunities to play in underserved areas, and we think the more kids we get playing the game, the more likely it is that we're going to keep filling ballparks like we filled this one today. The second piece of it is we want kids in the ballpark at an early age, and that's really a club-driven initiative. Our clubs do a great job at marketing to young people, and that's also another really important part of passing the game on to the next generation.
Well, Commissioner, we're so pleased to have you here in Tampa Bay. Let's talk about the sustainability of this franchise. We've been here a long time. I've been here from the beginning. The baseball interest here is keen. There's no question about that. Talk, if you can, as much as you can, about the path forward here.
I think the path forward is clear. I think that Tampa Bay, this region, is really fortunate. You have a committed and visionary ownership group, wants to make baseball work here in Tampa Bay. I think the key thing is to find a location and get a state-of-the-art baseball facility built in this market. People support the team. The ratings for this team on television are very good, and we need a ballpark in a location where fans will come and support what has been a really competitive franchise over time.
After the leadoff walk to Bautista, strikeouts of Encarnacion and Tulowitzki. Chris Colabello, the hitter now, with a 1-1 count. And Archer's up on him. We may run out of time, but this industry, baseball, has been blessed with labor peace. How can you speak to that in terms of where we are and what could be a pivotal year? Well,
we're off to a great start. We had formal openings in Florida and Arizona. Large number of players attended, gave each side an opportunity to talk about what its agenda is going to be. We have a very aggressive schedule of meetings early in the season, which is a great sign. So I'm optimistic that we're going to get it done again.
Colabello called out on strikes. Archer 3 strikeouts in the inning. Commissioner, pretty good job. A walk to lead it off, but 3 Ks.
There you go.
Great to have you here.
It was really my pleasure, and good luck to you guys this year.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you both.
And the Rays head to the bottom half, down 2-0 here for the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's take a look at the Rays. Some keys to the season. Let's take a look right here. Bullpen number one. Obviously, Brad Boxberger out with an injury for the first month and a half, maybe 2 months of the season. So you're going to have not just one guy, but you're going to have a couple of different guys really step up in that Rays bullpen to keep things moving smoothly, stay offensive. We talked about the change in approach last August and September and the difference it made for this offense. They need to stay that way with the new faces who fit in quite well. And then, of course, you're going to need the starting pitchers to perform to the expectations. One of the top starting staffs, if not the top staff in all of baseball. And then finally, catch the baseball. You got a couple of key positions being filled this year by newcomers in Brad Miller at shortstop, Logan Morrison, Steve Pearce going to get a lot of time at first base. Continue to catch the baseball, and things will be good.
Conger lines it into right for a base hit. And in his first official at bat in a Rays uniform, Conger's aboard. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people wondered about Hank Conger and whether he would make this team coming out of spring training. He had an option to go to the minor leagues, but the Rays decided to keep him. And when you look at his numbers, he's a switch hitter. When you look at his numbers against right-handed pitching, it starts to become clear. And then when you look at his ability to frame pitches, and that's a big deal these days, that picture becomes even clearer, I think. Down to third, Donaldson to Goins, one. So they get the force. Forsythe safe at first on a fielder's choice.
Well, and it doesn't hurt either that the pitching staff was raving about his ability to frame pitches, to make pitches that maybe just off the plate look like they're on by the way that he positions his glove. Balls that are below the zone, catch him with the thumb. He does a great job, and you're right. You think about Kurt Casale from the right side, Hank Conger getting a lot of left-handed at-bats, and you've got a chance to have a really productive position for the Rays.
You know, from the left side, he hit over 270 last year, 11 home runs. A little tapper by Morrison. Stroman with a nice play there, and that's the other thing for Stroman. He handles himself well coming off the mound and fielding his position.
He's an athlete. He's an athlete, and he's got that good, high twitch, fast twitch guy. Pops off the mound, makes a nice play. Anything you can do to help yourself.
So for the second time in this game, the Rays have a man at second base with 2 outs. In the first inning, it was Longoria who doubled with 2 gone. This time, Longoria will be at the plate with 2 men out and a man at second in the third inning. It's a first pitch strike. Evan now 4 of 6 in his career against Marcus Stroman with a home run. Pitch away. Rays with 3 hits. No runs. Home runs and runs batted in. One and two.
Well, I think these pieces that have been put into this Rays lineup are going to help Evan Longoria. He takes so much responsibility for the success or not the success of this offense. And so when he does that, he has that tendency to start to expand the zone. With these other pieces now, he can stay more disciplined and therefore more productive. You think when he would get into trouble a little bit, all of a sudden he would start chasing pitches off the plate, maybe trying to do a little bit too much. And now with that protection, with other capable hitters in the lineup, he can sit back and keyhole and look for his pitch in his spot.
And as much as hitters try not to do that, If they feel alone in that lineup, they're going to do that. It's just human nature, particularly if you're competitive, and the athletes are. That's what they do. Deep, but well fouled. Turned on that one. Conger opened with a single, Forced at second. Forsythe now at second. Longoria's doubled in the first was just inside the right field line. Pulls this one foul beyond the Blue Jays bullpen, and a souvenir.
Boy, he's jumped on a breaking ball. That may have been a cutter there at 89 miles an hour left up in the zone. Russell Martin now going out to talk to Marcus Stroman. Going to tell him if you don't get this pitch into a better spot, he's going to do some damage. You know, Evan Longoria's been able to see a number of pitches in this at bat, getting more and more comfortable at the plate.
You know, that speaks to the point when you hear scouts talk about pitchers, they like them to be a little taller because of the arm angle. If there's any drop down at all, things start to flatten out. Base hit the other way into right. Bautista's going to charge it. Forsythe charges to the plate, and the Rays are on the board. Longoria with his second hit of the game puts the Rays on the board. It's now 2-1.
And a great job of going the other way. You had a feeling Marcus Stroman was able to get ahead of him on the ball away. Going to try to finish him out there too, but look at Evans stay right on that again with very good plate coverage. And he takes that base hit the other way, and he gets the Rays on the board.
Boy, that was a great shot of watching Longoria stay on that pitch, head in, and hit it to right. Here's Corey Dickerson. That's a strike, so the Rays cut the deficit in half, just 2-1 now. Dickerson grounded out to first in the first. He starts to go and did go. That's Lance Diaz on the call down there. Fans don't like it. Here's another look.
Maybe just a little bit too far, and what's so difficult is that's the neutralizer for Marcus Stroman, the left-handed hitters. That cutter that he throws in, it's got late tight cutting action. You get the check swing. Now you're going to climb the ladder.
Ground ball. Goins bobbles it. Throw to first. Not going to be made. Everybody is safe. An error charge to Goins, and the inning will continue.
Boy, take advantage because that is as routine a ground ball on the turf that you are going to get. This is a gift right here, just routine ground ball. It clanks off the heel of the glove and then able to slide between the legs. Marcus Stroman, assuming this inning is over, not so fast.
Yeah, he's got to recalibrate now. 2 men on, 2 men out. Here's Desmond Jennings. There's a pitch that disappeared. Wow.
That's that sinking action. You know, he's got power stuff, not like 95, 99, but 92, 94, but with tremendous sinking action.
And look at that. 12 of 14 first pitch strikes. Shortstop this time. Tulowitzki to first, and the Rays leave 2, get a run. Longoria's single driving in Logan Forsythe. 2-1 at the end of 3, Toronto. opening day at Tropicana Field, and a full house, and a lot of them out there on the porch. I think Tom Callis might be out there somewhere.
You know he is.
Oh, of course.
You know he is. He bounces in and out. Always popular.
Out there on the porch. Put a porch swing out there.
Ooh. Maybe should have talked to somebody in the offseason.
Oh, Michael Saunders lines it and deflects off Morrison's mitt and rolls into foul territory. Morrison thought he was going to make that catch, and that'll be an error.
That's the second time this ball game a line drive Logan Morrison has had a beat on. The last time Logan Forsythe and Chris Archer helped make that play. This one, it maybe looked like it had some sinking or hooking action on it. Like he jumped up, the ball was not as high as he thought. Off the glove. And the Blue Jays with the leadoff base runner.
So for the second straight inning, the Blue Jays have the leadoff man on. This time on the error. That brings Russell Martin back a little bit. Too close to the beard. 1-0 the count. It was Martin who hit that line drive in the second inning that deflected off Morrison's mitt. And it was a great play by Forsythe and Archer to recover and get Martin on that one. And now the line drive by Saunders off the mid of Morrison here in the fourth inning.
And he went the other way, obviously, with that line drive. And now the right side of the infield wide open for Russell Martin on a pitch that's going to be away.
2-1.
Morrison holding the runner on, and Logan Forsythe shading up the middle. There's Logan. A lot of room over here.
That's a strike. 2-2. Ron Goins on deck. And he got him reaching. So Martin is out of there on the slider. 1 on, 1 out. Let's check in with Emily Austin in the draft room. Emily.
Yes, Dwayne B.A., great to see you guys. There's no porch swing up here, but there have been quite a few upgrades to Tropicana Field this season, this offseason rather, including the Republic Bank draft room. It's exclusively for Rays season ticket holders, and I'm telling you, it was the place to be before the game. Live reggae music. More importantly, they offer local craft beers and themed concession items. The new hot item is the draft beer. It's a 2-seam blonde ale. If you want to become a season ticket holder, go to 888-FAN-RAYS or RaysBaseball.com. You don't want to miss out. I don't know if you guys have seen this finished area yet, but it is pretty cool. You have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really nice. I was up there the other night when Chris Archer had his event. There's a base hit pulled to right by Goins. Saunders will go to third, men on the corners, and now here's an issue for Chris Archer with men at first and third and only 1 out.
Well, Ryan Goins able to pull that ball with some authority and squeeze it by Logan Morrison coming off the bag here, holding the runner and just able to get it outside of the reach. That's going to obviously allow Saunders to get all the way to third, just cannot quite get there. A little bit of a spot here for Chris Archer.
Now the top of the order to deal with. Kevin Pillar, and Josh Donaldson hits behind him. No ball, no strikes. The Rays infield would love a chance to turn a double play. Pillar can run. He's got great speed out of the box. So that will make it a challenge. 2-0. And the other thing about Pillar, he'll He'll hit the ball in the air more than he'll hit it on the ground. And right now, Archer's behind him 2-0.
That seems like that's the MO of almost everybody in this lineup. Get the ball airborne.
There's a strike. 2-1.
And Chris Archer not giving in. It's been 3 straight sliders. He wants to take advantage of Pillar's aggressiveness and get him going after one of those sliders. Maybe get that ground ball double play.
And a pop-up foul ball carries out of play.
Well, you can go right back to that slider down and away if you want. 3 in a row to start the at-bat. That fastball on the inner half. You speed up the swing, you speed up the bat, and then you go right back to the outside corner with that breaking ball. See what he does.
Big spot here after the Rays got a run in the 3rd. Threat in the 4th by Toronto. There's a base hit. Reaching out. Saunders scores. Goins goes to second, and Pillar makes it a 2-run game again.
Well, that's exactly what Chris Archer did. He went right back away with the slider. You've got to tip your hat to Kevin Pillar in this approach. Look at him stay on that. We've seen that a couple of times here by hitters from both sides. Staying on the ball away and using the other half of the field.
Two men on with 1 out. And there's Josh Donaldson. That's the thing about this Toronto lineup. You don't want to have to play catch up with much of a deficit against this team because they have the ability to add on runs.
And don't give them extra outs to work with.
Tough enough to get 3 outs in an inning, much less 4.
Yep. You really have to avoid, you know, as a starting pitcher, you've got to avoid leadoff walks, and you got to hope that your defense behind you plays solid, because well, leadoff error here cost them. Leadoff walks will hurt. They're just so dangerous and potent.
Two and one. We'll take a look at this. Runs scored in the American League, 891, and then you go down to New York with 764. Quite a margin. 2 and 2, and boy, the big cut right there by Donaldson.
Well, he got a breaking ball that kind of hung up there in the zone, and the swing for Josh Donaldson got really long. You see the leg kick for timing, and then gets long with the swing, and the slider beats him above the bat. Usually that pitch breaking out of the zone, it stayed up and everything got too big.
It's out of play. Back with another slider. Run home, 2 men on. Strike 3 call. He got him looking on a fastball. 8th strikeout for Archer, and the 2nd out, a big one here. Well, here's your chance to get a steal, Rays fans. Today's steal of the day features outfield tickets for any games this series versus Toronto for just $10. Available tonight only. Visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS for more information. Rays up. Now Jose Bautista. And that's a slider up a bit and there for a strike. Starting to get some action. Eddie Romero down in the bullpen. Jim Hickey had just made a call down there. Mid-80s in pitch count for Archer. 34 of those came in the first inning. 1-1.
And they haven't been an easy 85, 86 pitches. You know, he's had to work hard. He did have the big inning in the third where he struck out the side. That was after a leadoff walk, but he has had to work hard today.
Nice pitch for a strike. It's 1-2. Well, that's why you'd love to see against this lineup, and it's a tall order, quick innings, particularly to start. Those 34 pitches in the first inning really will put you in a bit of a deficit when you get to the middle part of the game. It's 2-2. Ooh, there is ball 3. Fastball to run the count full. Strike 3 call. Bautista out on strikes. They score 1 unearned run. 3-1 Toronto here on opening day. There's the strikeout.
Now here's another top play for 2015.
Fourth inning, we're joined by the principal owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, Stuart Sternberg. Stu, first of all, season number 11 as the owner. Congratulations on that, and how's opening day treating you?
Thank you. It's hard to believe, but it's been a joy. Wonderful so far, obviously, other than the score.
Great day here, not only because the Rays fans are enjoying the kickoff to the 2016 season, but we had a special guest in town today with the commissioner.
That was huge. What a commitment Rob showed coming in here. He knew it was important to us as we begin the stadium quest here. And baseball's focused on it, and I can't ask for more than that.
Rays start out the bottom half of the fourth inning with Brad Miller at the plate, and Brad takes a pitch for a strike, 0-1. Miller, Steven Souza, Kevin Kiermaier. So far, the Rays with a run in the third and 3 runs for the Blue Jays, a couple in the first, but it seems like Chris is settling down a little.
Yeah, the strikeouts all of a sudden came on, but there's been a lot of going with the pitch the opposite way for the right-handed hitters, and we're going to have to adjust to that a little bit.
A lot of new amenities, a lot of new things going on here at the stadium, and It's really an exciting time to be a Rays fan because you guys keep adding on to what's available every year here at the Trop.
Yeah, obviously there's been talk, there's new stadium and all that, but we have never stopped investing in our stadium here for the fan experience.
Ground ball to Ryan Goins.
For the fan experience. We've added something to the draft room this year for season ticket holders. It's a great amenity. I'm looking forward to hearing from them, how they find it and what else we can do in that respect. We brought Evan's Ducky's restaurant in here this year, which is pretty exciting. And the thing I'm most interested in, and we spent a lot of time, is our 2C mail.
You've got a fresh brew. How is that possible? Because I know you haven't left the suite yet since we've been here.
Well, I'm not that learned on all this, but we have a keg here and a keg tap something or other.
We really? Can we see it?
Somebody, of course.
We're gonna mobilize here, guys, and see. Stu's got a brand new toy here in the owner's suite. Hopefully this will work out where you can still see us. What do you have back here, Stu?
We have some buttons. We have our 2C blonde ale keg tap, and it seems to work pretty well. Maybe it's supposed to come out faster, but I don't. It's cold and it's bubbly, and most importantly, it tastes good.
So you've got your own personal keg aerator.
That's it, a kegerator. That's what it was called. I didn't realize that. Yes, it's a kegerator.
You learn something new every day. Well, congratulations on that. But before we let you go, Rays baseball.
You want to focus on the little machine back here?
You've got a pinball machine. You've got a kegerator and a pinball machine.
That's it. It's all life. It's all you need in life.
And a jar full of jelly beans. Life is good.
Yes, life.
This team, confidence level. I know, considering who didn't make the team and who got recently released, you guys have had a pretty tough decisions down the stretch.
Well, that's kind of telling. First of all, as everybody sees, people don't make the team because of money or whatnot. And if our guys upstairs think there's a significant difference, we're going to make a difference with a different guy at first or catcher. We had to do what we had to do. It wasn't fun. James Loney had some great seasons here. But we did feel that Morrison and Pierce as well would be better alternatives for us at this point. We know James will be, get up the alley. Nope. James will be playing. Oh!
Drop, fly ball, and right.
Wow, look at him run. Look at him run. Boy. How about that play at first for Kiermaier? Was that crazy?
That was crazy. And Kiermaier right there reaches on what may be an error on Batista. That looked like a playable ball. But anyhow, excited about the play.
Yeah, so the play, so we think at first base we've got a good situation there. Conger coming in and starting catcher today. We lost Rivera because of it.
Take us through the replay.
He reached up. He just, you know what? He just took a lazy approach to it. You could see his feet all of a sudden. A little lazy approach right there. And I think the ball took off on him a little bit. Usually when the lefties hit it, curves back. It seems to tail a little bit. It's great to see Kiermaier right out of the box, though, right? You hate it when a guy just sort of lollygags and then has to maybe get to second. We've seen our share of that over the years. But yeah, we think we've got some bats this year. We haven't sacrificed too much on the pitching side. Losing Carnes is a big deal, but obviously we've got a great 5-man rotation, plus Cobb coming back, a couple of guys in the minor leagues potentially if need be. Hopefully we won't need them like we did last year. Boxberger going down certainly wasn't part of the equation. McGee was an incredible Ray. McGee went back here, from 2004, and Jake just did a phenomenal job, and we're going to miss him. That's the guy, but to pick up a guy like Dickerson, and plus we got a third baseman in the minor leagues who we like quite a bit also, and you never know these guys pay dividends for.
Before we let you go, and we're going to have you pour beer to break as we go, but before we let you go, and hopefully this inning continues for a while, stadium issues. Will we hear something this season? I know every year we hope to hear. There's hopefully some movement coming. It sounds like the commissioner's enthusiastic about what may happen.
Yeah, he's focused on it, and obviously taking a cue from us. We're excited about it. It's been 2 months now that we've had the opportunity to look, and we've engaged now with leaders on both sides of the bay. This isn't going to happen overnight. Something this important, it's going to be a generational kind of facility for the community. We're going to have to make sure we get it right, and we're going to if nothing else, we'll get it right, enlist the help and also the opinions of business leaders, our fans, most importantly, elected officials, and see what they think the right thing is for Tampa Bay for the next 50, 75 years.
We look forward to that. Stu, thank you very much. And on the way out, as we said it back to Dwayne and BA, how about pouring us a beer after this pitch?
This was new for me, but yeah. Only at the stadium, by the way. The guys at Green Bench did a great job. We worked with them, and our resident beer experts. All of a sudden, we had a lot of hands go, can I help with the beer project? But it really is delicious. So you can find, I think we have 30 locations in the stadium. And, just here for the fans is something we're trying to do. So thank you to everybody. We have another great season of Rays baseball ahead, and appreciate you all spending your time with us.
All right, guys, Stu's going to top off the beer, and we're going to go back to you. There's a play at third, and Actually, we're going to go to break right now as Kiermaier is gunned down, heading to third base. Stu Sternberg with a 2-seam blonde nail to break. It is 3-1 Toronto as we head to the fifth.
Rays running themselves out of the bottom of the fourth against a pretty tough catcher. If you're going to run against Russell Martin, you better be sure.
Yeah, this is a tough customer to run against, no doubt about it. I mean, any regular catcher, he's by far and away has the best caught stealing percentage. And on top of it, you've got 2 outs. You've got tremendous speed out at second base with 2 outs, and you're trying to steal against really the best catch and throw guy in the game right now. And did not work out.
Encarnacion swings and misses. That's a strike to open the 5th inning. Well, you don't want to make the first or third out at third. You've got Martin behind the plate. You're down by 2 runs.
There's a lot there.
Two strikes. And the other interesting thing about that, Conger actually walked on that pitch. So the caught stealing on the walk ends the inning.
It was almost as if Kevin Kiermaier thought somebody was at first base, and now we're running on the pitch.
1-2 to Encarnacion, so the Rays up top of the order to lead off in the bottom of the 5th. Ball, 2 strikes on Encarnacion with Tulowitzki due next, and then Colabello. Encarnacion singled in the first 2 runs for the Blue Jays in the first, scoring Donaldson and Bautista. The Blue Jays scored an unearned run in the 4th. The Rays got their run in the 3rd inning, single home by Evan Longoria.
Okay.
Conger spending time with Archer, who's in the mid-90s in pitch count. Andy Romero up for the 2nd time in the Rays bullpen. Strike 3 call. caught the corner. So a 10 strikeout performance by Archer, getting that one on a pitch away. So one gone here in the 5th inning. Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light.
Well, Chris Archer, that slider usage really went up last year, and guess what? So did the strikeouts. He's got a pitch that he can really put you away with. Actually struck out Encarnacion there with a fastball looking on the outside corner. And you know what? He rang up so far today. He's rung up 10 strikeouts, and the slider hasn't even been the pitch that, you know, that we're used to seeing. A lot of depth and tilt to it. And this has not been the day that Chris Archer's had his A+ slider and still able to ring up 10 strikeouts. Still in the 5th inning.
One and two. Fastball in and by Tulowitzki inside. 7 of the 10 strikeouts swinging, 3 looking. Two balls, 2 strikes. Tulowitzki was slowed this spring when he was hit by a pitch on a knuckle, and a pretty good bone bruise after Bartolo Colon hit him. He walked in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 3rd. 2-2 here in the 5th. He got him. Fastball by him, out on strikes for the 2nd time, swinging. Number 11 for Archer.
Well, he powered a fastball by him early in the at-bat and finishes off with another one. You can see the 4-seam. He drives it up about letter high, and Tulowitzki just cannot get up there to get it.
Chris Colabello is due up.
This really just speaks to the potential dominance of Chris Archer. He has a ball game today where he will admit he's not had his normal command. He hasn't had his best slider, and yet 11 strikeouts through 4 2/3.
A little trouble settling in the 1st, limited the damage to 2. Touch for the unearned run in the 4th inning. 2 outs in the 5th now. Ball, no strikes. One and one, a chase on the pitch up. Well, he's up over 100 pitches, 104. Saunders, a left-handed hitter's on deck. The lefty Romero's in the bullpen, sufficiently warm. Archer trying to get Colabello to end the top half of this inning, and is now ahead of him 1 and 2. So Archer pitching to Colabello to stay in this game and get into the bottom of the 5th, give his teammates a chance to score some runs and help not only the Rays' cause, but Archer's cause. Two. And he got him to chase. Strikes out the side. 1, 2, 3. Go the Blue Jays. 12 strikeouts for Chris Archer. And the Rays are down 3-1. Rays down 3-1. Bottom of the 5th inning comes up with the top of the order. Logan Forsythe leading off. He has scored the lone Rays run so far. And there's a bouncer toward the middle, but Tulowitzki fields, turns, and throws to get him.
Looks like he's done that before. Ranging far to his left, no hesitation on the spin and the throw. And guess what? Accurate all the way through. Already in his mind, he knows he's going to have to spin. He's comfortable with his footwork where he is on the field, and the throw is right there.
There's Logan Morrison. Sends one into left center field, slicing on Pilar, but he's there running under it to make the catch. A couple quick outs right here for the right-hander Stroman. And Morrison having some words with somebody out there. Stroman. And we're going to get Tim Timmons coming in from second base to quell anything that might be brewing here. Don't know what that was about.
Logan Morrison just saying, listen, he's looking at me, he's talking. I don't appreciate it.
Well, there's Stroman. I'm not talking to you. All's well that ends well in that little exchange.
It's only 1 of 19, Dwayne. 1 of 19.
He's Evan Longoria taking a ball.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Logan Morrison known for riling up a clubhouse. And right now trying to rile up his team. Down by a couple of runs, a tough pitcher on the mound. trying to get some life going in that dugout.
Pitch in on Longoria. That's going to carry back to Pilar. And a 1-2-3 fifth inning. On to the sixth. It's 3-1 Toronto. The first inning when Edwin Encarnacion single, chasing home Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista. The Rays got back one of those runs in the third when Evan Longoria singled to right, scoring Logan Forsythe. Then in the fourth, an unearned run when Saunders reached on an error. He scored on the Pilar base hit. And so through 5 innings of work, Chris Archer gave up 3 runs, 2 earned. On 5 hits, he had 12 strikeouts as he departs this game. He walked 3 and gives way to Enny Romero, the hard-throwing left-hander.
Well, worked in 23 games last year, came into spring training, made some mechanical adjustments in the offseason in winter ball, and had himself a very good camp. Really had the Rays, I mean, from Kevin Cash, Jim Hickey, right down the line, raving about the efficiency of the delivery.
Well, Saunders trying to bunt that one, and he takes the pitch down. Ball, no strikes. Foul back. So Archer made 107 pitches, 12 strikeouts. His career high is 15. That came against the Angels last June.
Well, he had to battle this afternoon. Nothing came easy for Chris Archer today, and still able to rack up the 12 strikeouts in the 5 innings.
It's Forsythe. With that right side overloaded, Saunders is out of there.
Well, it started off that first inning, 34 pitches. Really wasn't able to find the strike zone with any consistency. You get a ball getting away from Hank Conger right there, and then Edwin Encarnacion stays on a slider into right center. Jim Hickey's going to come out there, and all of a sudden, that first inning, he gets back, finishes it with a couple of strikeouts on his way to 12. Started working the ball around the zone a little bit better, but it just was never easy. The rhythm and tempo, not quite where Chris would want it. Still has given his team a chance to win.
First pitch, and Martin takes the ball.
Yeah, a lesser pitcher with what Chris struggled with here this afternoon is giving up way more than 3 runs, and actually one of them was unearned anyway. So he could have really gone 5 innings, 2 runs.
How about this? You mentioned the visit by Jim Hickey. After that walk to Tulowitzki and the visit by Hickey, Archer struck out 12 of the next 19 men he faced.
That's why he's one of the best pitching coaches in the business. I mean, when you go out and have that kind of a visit and that kind of a turnaround, and really the only run that he gave up in that stretch was an unearned run.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty impressive right there.
Punching out 60%.
3 balls and a strike. As you know, Romero with a great arm out there. Control, command, an issue that has kept him from getting to the big leagues earlier. And the Rays saw some real progress when it came to Romero this spring. They've attempted to simplify things in terms of his delivery.
Get him out of the stretch full time. There's no windup. There's no twist. It's just very simple. Come set and drive towards home plate and let that fastball do its work.
Liner into left, and that's going to be caught by Jennings as he reaches up. 2 up and 2 gone here in the 6th. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Ryan Goins with a hit in 2 at-bats. 1 for 2 in a 3-1 game. There's a strike.
One more quick note on the Chris Archer strikeouts. The last 9 outs recorded by Chris Archer were punch outs.
Yep. How about that?
I mean, that's like backyard stuff.
Struck out the side in the 3rd after he walked Bautista. Then he wound up striking out the side in the 4th and struck him out 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. Boyd is out on strikes. Down go the Blue Jays. Bottom of inning 6 coming. 3-1 Toronto. Rays history presented by Geico. On this day in 2000, Gerald Williams hit the first pitch of the season for a home run, and later Fred McGriff smashed a grand slam as the Rays notched the first ever franchise opening day victory, 7-0 over the Minnesota Twins in the Metrodome. Steve Traxel got that first win. In his first American League win anyway, on the opening day. Here we are, opening day. Rays down by a couple runs into hit in the 6th with Corey Dickerson leading off and taking a pitch outside. Stroman in good shape in the pitch count department. 63 pitches in the 6th inning. Gets a strike. It's 1-1. Rays have some further action in the bullpen. They got a 1-2-3 from Romero. Now it's Webb up in the bullpen. 1-2. Ryan Webb, the right-hander, loosens. Meanwhile, Desmond Jennings waits to hit next, and then Brad Miller in the Rays' 6th inning. That's a foul ball back at third base. Well, we've seen Romero out of the bullpen. Ryan Webb is loosening, and here's the rest of that 8-man bullpen right now.
Well, 3 left-handers. You also see Erasmo Ramirez, normally a starting pitcher, because of all of the off days early in the season. He's going to start in the bullpen. Tremendous off-speed delivery there for Marcus Stroman to pick up the strikeout on a changeup. But there's a lot of different styles out there. And Erasmo Ramirez, we talked to Kevin Cash and Jim Hickey about his role in the pen. He's going to cover just about everything, and he may get some really meaningful innings. Coming in that 7th inning, 8th inning, he can give them length. He's going to be a man that's going to be used in a lot of different ways, as will a lot of those bullpen arms.
Jennings chops it to short. Glove by Tulowitzki, who makes the play. 2 gone.
Number 13, Brad Miller.
Base is empty. 2 outs for Brad Miller, who's 0 for 2 today. Ball, no strikes. Three, 5, and 2 for Toronto. 1-4-1 for the Rays. The Rays error cost them a run. Three-1 to count, 3-1 to score. Steven Souza Jr. would be next. The count is full.
He has just been at the bottom of the strike zone all afternoon long. That's why he's been able to keep that pitch count in line, very efficient, and has climbed back into this count with 2 fastballs at the knees.
Shot by the mound. Going to cross his body, makes the play. Miller's out. The Rays are up and down. 1-2-3. 3-1 Toronto. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Rays and the Blue Jays. Moves again to the 7th inning. Ryan Webb is the new pitcher for the Rays. Chris Archer worked 5. Eddie Romero 1, and now out of Clearwater Catholic High School, Ryan Webb comes on.
Well, Eddie Romero with a very good 6th inning, ended on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a completely different style coming here. We talked about the different styles, left-handed power, and now Ryan Webb is going to come out. He is tall, lanky, good sinker ball. Eats up a lot of ground balls when things are going well.
Strike. Rick Odioso, our statistician, keeping us up to date on some of the interesting numbers going back to 1913. Most strikeouts since then in an appearance of 5 innings or fewer innings. Alex Cobb, who had 13 against the Padres in May of 2013. And Zach Greinke, who had 13 in September of 2012. Well, Chris Archer had 12 today in 5 innings against the heralded Blue Jays lineup. 2-2 now on Kevin Pillar, leading off the 7th. This, of course, the highest strikeout total by a Rays in an opening day assignment. Morrison in foul territory makes the catch. One out. Josh Donaldson due up. We saw the extent of the Rays bullpen. They decided to keep an extra man in the bullpen. It came down to a spot in the bullpen or a spot on the bench, and Mike Ivanto was a late send to Durham decision. And the Rays are carrying 8 pitchers in the bullpen.
Obviously, that's going to be a focus of this team early in the season until Brad Boxberger returns. A lot of guys are going to be thrust into roles that they maybe have not been in before. And so guys are going to have to step up, and it's going to take more than 1 or 2. You're going to have different guys in different roles really make things happen. And the thought on Mikey Montuk was, listen, you'd love to have that guy a part of your team, but they just were concerned he wasn't going to get a ton of playing time early in the season, facing a lot of right-handed pitching, a lot of off days.
Strike on the outside corner. Donaldson out on strikes for the 2nd time, and he's upset with Mike Everett. Bautista comes out there to get in between the 2 of them. So Bautista, who wasn't really happy in the 4th inning when he was called out on strikes, gets in there and breaks it up.
That pitch at the bottom of the strike zone, especially away, has been consistently called all afternoon by Mike Everett. And Jose Bautista, understanding how important Josh Donaldson is to this team, goes out there to say, hey, listen, just head back, live to fight another day.
First pitch strike into Bautista.
And by the way, that was a tremendous pitch by Ryan Webb.
1 ball, 1 strike.
That's something that he really challenged himself. You know, you come into spring training, you've got different ways to try and make yourself better. And, you know, he's not a big strikeout guy, big ground ball guy, but he said, I want to have the ability when I get to 2 strikes to be able to put guys away, whether it be with that changeup, with the breaking ball.
Batista started to go, but checked. It's 2-1. Talking about handling the bullpen, we had a shot up there of Jim Hickey and Kevin Cash, and 2 guys who know something about handling pitchers in general and the bullpen. And I think that's something that is certainly not to be overlooked in the situation where the Rays find themselves now without Boxberger. Miller makes this play. It's a 1-2-3, 7th inning stretch coming. 3-1 Toronto. Opening day at Tropicana Field. Great to have you with us. We're in the middle of the 7th inning. Blue Jays scored 2 in the first. Rays got a run in the 3rd. Toronto an unearned run in the 4th inning. So the Rays coming in to hit in the bottom of the 7th, trying to get something started against the Toronto right-hander, Marcus Stroman. Stroman has been impressive today.
Yes, he has. He has lived at the bottom of the strike zone. A very good sinker. We've seen some good changeups, the cutter, especially against the left-handed hitters. And he just has not given the Rays many opportunities at all. You see a good changeup right there to Dickerson, but he's kept the ball on the ground too, and that's what he will do. He's got a career ground ball rate of over 55%. That is outstanding, and he has certainly worn out the infielders here today.
The line on him, 74 pitches through 6 innings. Only 1 walk, 4 hits and a run, 3 strikeouts. Rays will have the bottom 3 in the order. Souza Jr., then Kiermaier and Conger due up. Souza Jr. had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Cecil, veteran lefty, up in the bullpen for Toronto. Ground ball short. Tulowitzki handles that.
Well, that's what he's capable of doing, and that's why that pitch count is in such great shape here into the 7th inning. Now just 75 pitches. He's throwing strikes. He's staying at the bottom of the zone. Late movement is causing Rays hitters to hit that ball right down into the ground, and he's getting quick, efficient outs.
Kevin Kiermaier is the hitter. It's a strike. So 3 straight ground balls. Last 2 outs in the 6th. Now ground ball out by Souza. Fly ball to center by Kiermaier. 2 gone. It's 8 in a row retired by Stroman since he walked Conger. Conger walked in the 4th inning when Kiermaier was caught trying to steal 3rd. And technically Conger was left on base, but he just left the batter's box. So he was technically left on base, but he's really left in the batter's box.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's another reason not to get thrown out at 3rd, make the final out.
Boy, you're not kidding. That was a big moment.
Ooh, off his foot. That's the other thing, especially for a left-handed hitter up there, and that cutter that Stroman has, he'll make your feet hurt.
I mean, think about the weapons that he has to try to neutralize left-handed hitters. You've got the cutter, the sinker, the changeup, and you're right. That ball cutting in, you try to get the barrel to it, and you ended up pounding those balls right off your feet and ankles.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. It's Logan Forsythe on deck. And a short right, but Goins is out there and makes the throw to first. Rays are up and down. 1, 2, 3. On to the 8th. 3-1 Toronto. The top of the 8th. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live at HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Ryan Webb had a 1-2-3 7th. Out to pitch the top of the 8th here with Edwin Encarnacion leading off.
And I like this move. Ryan Webb can give you a little bit of length, and you've got the next 3 hitters. They like to get the ball airborne. Encarnacion, Troy Tulowitzki, Colabello. And so you get the sinker baller out there, and you try to keep him in the infield.
Into Evelyn, the veteran lefty, starts to loosen. It's 1-1. Webb had a 12-pitch 7th. This is one thing the Rays, we might see them do more of. Have their relievers pitch more than just 1 inning. Extend them a little bit. Base hit right center. Souza bobbles but goes back to pick it up. And Encarnacion has his second hit.
Ryan Webb at that fastball, trying to get it down in the zone to get the ground ball. That one he left up, and that is what allows Encarnacion to get this ball airborne. Look where this ball ends up. This is right, I mean, this is up there around the letters. And so he's able to poke it out into right center field. Leadoff single.
First hit the Blue Jays have had since the RBI single in the fourth by Pilar.
One nice thing about a sinker baller like Webb, you're one pitch away. One pitch away from getting 2 quick outs.
Tulowitzki. There's a strike. Foul back. 0-2. Blue Jays with a man aboard. They've stranded 6. The Rays have left 5 men on base. Ball, 2 strikes. Now to play. Archer pitched the first 5. He struck out 12 in 5 innings. He gave up 3 runs, 2 earned on 5 hits. Eddie Romero pitched a perfect 6th inning, picking up a strikeout. Webb went 1-2-3 in the 7th with a strikeout. Works the 8th and a fly ball to left. Jennings will go to the wall, and that one's going to get out of here. Tulowitzki got it airborne and hits it out. And that will give the Blue Jays a 4-run cushion.
Well, I like this move of sticking with Ryan Webb in theory, because you have these hitters that want to get the ball airborne, and you figure the sinker's going to play well against that. But he has left a couple of these pitches up. We saw the one to Encarnacion was up around the letters. That pitch right there up around the belt. When that happens, there's no sinking action. It flattens out, and hitters take good swings.
Yeah, the prior pitch that was fouled off was up as well. He didn't want that up there, and certainly didn't want that pitch where it was. So it's now 5-1. Nobody out in the 8th. Colabello looks at a strike. That's the thing about this lineup. We talk about Donaldson and Bautista and Encarnacion, but they have other hitters, and there's a line drive caught by Miller. You know, you look at their lineup and double figures home runs. Last year, their leadoff man Pilar in double figures. Then Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, big home run hitters. Tulowitzki with the power we just saw. Colabello, 15 home runs. Martin last year hit 23.
Hitting 8th in the lineup.
Yep. And now a call to the bullpen. The Rays will call upon the lefty with 1 out in the 8th. Back in a moment. Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll look at the new additions to this Rays ball club and hear from left-hander Drew Smyly, who is coming off an outstanding spring.
Boy, and he finished up strong. We got a chance to see his last outing. 4 strong innings, 7 strikeouts, right where he wants to be starting off the season. His first appearance tomorrow.
Michael Saunders in the batter's box. Dana Evelyn on the mound. Pitch is a strike. Two and 0. Evelyn. That fastball slider combination, once in a while to change up. Strike on the corner.
A little bit of deception in the delivery. We've already seen the breaking ball and how far he can sweep that pitch.
Center field. Saunders is the second out. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Russell Martin, check swing. Evelyn runs it to first and the toss to Morrison. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th now, and the Rays will have the top of the order coming up. Forsythe, Morrison, and Longoria do.
Comeback against the Jays. They trail it by a score of 5-1. Coming up immediately following the game, stay with us here on Fox Sports Sun because we'll have our first ever of the 2016 season. Rays Live, the postgame show, brought to you by Checkers. O, Doug, Todd, the three amigos will be talking, among other things, about the exuberance of Chris Archer and how that affected his pitching performance with those 12 strikeouts. I'll be in the clubhouse talking to Kevin Cash, Chris Archer himself, and other assorted Rays. That's all coming up on Rays Live, the postgame show, brought to you by Checkers. Dwayne, BA.
Justin Smoke takes over at first base defensively. And we're headed into the bottom of the 8th with the top of the order Forsythe after the first pitch rolls it to short, and a tough play. Tulowitzki makes it nicely.
Boy, he's been busy. We've seen him up the middle, the spin throws. You've seen a couple of those moving a little bit to his right, having to throw across his body off balance. But that is a credit to Marcus Stroman, working quickly, throwing strikes, getting ground balls.
Second time that Forsythe is grounded out to short. And a byproduct of Stroman working quickly and throwing strikes. There's a first pitch strike to Morrison. The Rays in the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings went down in order. 9 in a row retired over a span of 3 innings. And it required only 23 pitches from Stroman. And here he is, a first pitch ground ball out in the 8th, and now he's ahead of Morrison 0-2.
Efficient. I tell you, he just has had complete command of the strike zone, specifically the bottom third of the strike zone and beyond.
And there is strike 3 on Morrison. So this is about as efficient as you can get. A 1-pitch ground ball out, 3-pitch strikeout. Morrison tried to check. He's out on strikes. And the hitter is Evan Longoria.
Well, you hear guys talking about, what it's like to be in that zone, and that right now is where Marcus Stroman has taken residency. He just is feeling it out there. You can tell in the body language, the way he's popping around on the mound, the way that he's pitching, and everything right there. I mean, he's been at the kneecaps all afternoon, and that doesn't hurt either.
How about that? 25 of 30 first pitch strikes. He's ahead of Evan 0-2.
Well, and that's the thing. That's a byproduct of these efficient early in the count outs, and the stat that you just talked about, how many outs he's recorded now, 11 straight on maybe 30 pitches, and it's because you keep throwing first pitch strikes. Guys are sick and tired of being down 0-1, 0-2 every at bat.
Yep. Just a bit of that one to stay alive. Conger walked in the 4th when Kiermaier was caught stealing to end the inning. Then 11 in a row retired by Stroman since then. Longoria with 2 of the 4 hits allowed, 1 a double and the RBI single in the 3rd.
Well, what he did a nice job of so far this afternoon is with 2 strikes going the other way. That's why Stroman was trying to crowd him with that previous fastball.
One ball, 2 strikes. Tommy threw a ball in this inning.
Show pitch.
Miss, just a little wide, 2-2. And Longoria is out to retire the side. 1-2-3, go the Rays again. 5-1 Toronto. Field is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. And by Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal. From the Trop, we go to the ninth. Toronto will have Ryan Goins leading off. Dana Evelyn got the final 2 outs in the 8th. Archer for 5, Romero for 1, Webb an inning and a third, Evelyn 2/3, and now he faces the Blue Jays second baseman. Pitch is a strike. Two. Goins had a base hit in the 4th inning. Couple of strikeouts, 14 strikeouts for Rays pitching, 12 for Archer. Ball, 2 strikes. Well, Evelyn trying to keep this Blue Jay club right where it is. The Rays with just 1 shot left. And their offense has been dormant against Marcus Stroman so far. There's a chase by Goins, and he's out on strikes. 1 out in the 9th. Baseball is back, and FS1 starts the season Thursday. Prince Fielder and the Rangers take on Mike Trout and the Angels, all on America's home for baseball all season long. FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Kevin Pillar. Pillar with a couple hits and a run batted in. It's 1-1. Rays in the bottom of the 9th. They'll have Dickerson, Jennings, and Miller due up. Miller with the throw on the move. 2 up and 2 down. Here's Josh Donaldson. Donaldson singled and scored in the 1st inning when the Blue Jays got to Archer for 2. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think that's kind of a microcosm of what this season is going to be like. The margin for error in the American League East is going to be razor thin. And just a little bit of an off-kilter start by Chris Archer. 2 quick runs by the Blue Jays. And right now, that's all they would have needed.
Yeah, Archer made 34 pitches in the 1st inning and had to leave after 5 with 107 pitches. 34 pitches in the 1st really puts you at a deficit.
It just forces you to work so hard. And the way that Stroman's been throwing the ball for the Blue Jays, there's just no margin for error. Nice pitch there by Evelyn. Backdoor breaking ball. That ball out of the hand to Josh Donaldson probably looked like it was in the Rays dugout.
Two and 2. big cut and a miss. He's out on strikes. Down in order go the Blue Jays in the 9th. Final shot coming for the Rays with Dickerson, Jennings, and Miller due up. Toyota inside look. Starting pitchers, Chris Archer for 5. An early pitch count. Handicap 10, finished with 12 strikeouts, and Stroman has been a marvel of efficiency.
Yeah, normally you do not see this. Opening day and a chance here to go for a complete game, but it's been the efficiency. I mean, he just started out by wearing out the bottom third of the strike zone and forcing Rays hitters into early swings, easy early outs, and he has just been absolutely terrific this afternoon.
Retired 12 in a row, taking care of the last 4 innings using just 32, 35 pitches. I mean, that's amazing when you stop to think that Archer battled through the first inning with 34 pitches, and Stroman has spread out that number of pitches over 4 innings. Here near the backside of this game.
He just continues to fill up the strike zone here. 0-2 once again. That's the feeling that you've had. It's either been a first pitch ground out or everybody's 0-2. That's how it's felt. That's how good he's been.
Yeah, he made as many pitches, 34, over 4 innings as Archer made in the first inning. It's foul out of play. And how about this? And this one is still going. This at bat coming into this inning. Of the last 21 hitters he's faced, only 8 have even seen 1 pitch for a ball out of the zone. Oh, a long one to right. That one's going to go out of here. Home run for Dickerson. Corey Dickerson on an 0-2 pitch. Put a charge into that one.
Now that's something that the Rays hope that Dickerson can bring all season long. And watch where the location of this pitch is. We talked about how good Stroman has been in the bottom third of the zone. 0-2. No. At the letters to a guy with power. Not a good idea.
An example of the power the Rays expect to get from Corey Dickerson. That makes it 5-2.
Well, now can you roll this into a big inning?
Well,
put a scare into him.
Yeah. Strike to Desmond Jennings. There's a base hit up the middle. So the Rays trying to make a game of it here in the bottom of the ninth. Home run and a single, and that brings John Gibbons out of the dugout. And Stroman, who had been so good and so efficient really all day, especially the backside of this game, is going to see his day come to an end right here. We'll be with you tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports Sun. And Drew Smyly, coming off a great spring, will be on the mound for the Rays against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. So we invite you to join us tomorrow evening for all of that fun and frivolity. With a lefty and a knuckler on the hill against each other.
You talk about differing styles, even from today. And Drew Smyly, you already mentioned how good he was in spring training. Healthy from the beginning of the season now. He looked very good. He's a guy that's going to use the whole strike zone top to bottom. And R.A. Dickey, that ball's going to be floating. Fun matchup.
Well, the Rays need another base runner to have a shot at tying it. They are down 5-2. And the new pitcher, young, hard-throwing right-hander Roberto Osuna. Osuna out of Mexico. First pitch is foul back by Brad Miller, looking for that fastball, and it came in the mid-90s. There's Stroman, Marcus Stroman, 8 innings. 8 innings plus. He gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, 27 of 32 first pitch strikes, with a walk and 5 strikeouts. Jennings at first, his responsibility. 2.
Well, that's nasty. That ball cutting in on Miller at 92 miles an hour. We saw some of that from Stroman. The cutters in on the lefties and then sink it away from him. Roberto Osuna in a battle during spring training with Drew Storen to be the closer. He gets the call. Look at that late cutting action. That's at 92, and that ball was hit off of Brad Miller's calf.
Osuna only 21 years old. And boy, when he comes into the game and you're the next hitter up, you know he's in the game.
It's easy cheese. 96, looks like very little effort, very smooth with his mechanics and his delivery.
2-2. Osuna last year made the jump from the Gulf Coast League and the Florida State League in 2014 to the big leagues last year. Miller battles that fastball at 96, fouling it away.
Well, you're just battling, trying to hang in there, fight off the tough pitches, and hope that he makes a mistake and jump on it.
Swing and a miss. Boy, you've got to be ready for that hard stuff, and that makes anything else even more effective.
Yep, and this one he actually hung. This is an 83-mile-an-hour slider. You can see it stays up above the zone, up above the belt. Not a whole lot of depth or a good break to it at all. But like you said, when you're gearing up for the potential of 96, 97, you got to get it started early. And
now Steven Souza Jr. Back. Stroman was dominant. Now Osuna. The Rays use Archer, Romero, Webb, and Evelyn. Had 16 strikeouts today as a staff. That ties a major league record for most strikeouts by a team on opening day in a 9-inning game. Ooh, pretty close right there. And it's a ball, 1-1.
That ball just jumps out of the hand. A couple of good fastballs here for Steven Souza Jr. to take a hack at. Fouled the first one off. That one he swings through. Deceptive velocity.
And he's out on strikes. That fastball in around 96.
Trying to keep it close to Souza Jr. He knows that he wants to get his arms extended. So keep it close to him. Trying to tie him up. That's what he does. That ball actually ended up middle of the plate. But just able to power it by him.
So strikeouts of Miller and Souza Jr. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Hard stuff, 97, strike one.
Up and in. Up and in. Not afraid to throw that fastball in the inner half. And it's so tough to get to anyway. And when it's close to you, you really got to get started early.
One and one to count. And he drops that one in there for a called strike on a slider.
A handcuffed Russell Martin.
Striking out his catcher. Kiermaier starts to go, checks, and down to second goes Jennings, unchecked. He moves up on indifference.
Easy call by Laz Diaz down there at third, not even close.
Now 2-2 to Kevin. There's Jennings at second. Boy, it's trying to stay alive against this strong arm. Rays need another runner to have a shot. Martin with a talk.
And really, you come to an agreement on a pitch and a location, you don't even need to give a sign. Desmond Jennings out there lurking at second base.
2-2. Base hit into center. That will score Jennings, and the Rays are still alive. It's 5-3. Kiermaier battling against the impressive heat of Osuna to stay alive, and finally a little base hit into center field to get the job done.
Yeah, and more importantly, you extend the game, but you get the tying run to the plate. That's all the Rays could have asked for coming into the bottom of the ninth inning, down by 4 runs. Well, he does not. I'll tell you, there's been some good 2-strike approaches by Rays hitters in this game, cutting down the swing. Kevin Kiermaier does it there, soft serves it into center, and let's see what Hank Connor can do.
5-3 ball game. There goes Kiermaier down to second, and the pitch is a strike. He moves up on indifference.
How can you have indifference in a 2-run game?
I know.
Please.
This one a big cut and a miss, and the ball goes to the backstop. And over to third goes Kiermaier. Rays with 3 hits, 2 runs in this inning. That's a wild pitch.
Thought that was going to be indifference on Russell Martin.
Indifference of another kind. So Kiermaier is now at third after the RBI single. 0-2 the count on Conger. Into the dirt, and it's blocked by Martin. No indifference that time.
No. Not with that runner at third, and I'll tell you, that's a tough chance right there. Osuna really shortened his stride towards home plate, trying to get on top of this slider and really spike it. And way out in front of the plate, and Russell Martin has got to do everything that he can to keep the ball in front, to keep from Kiermaier from walking home.
Little tap back to the hill. Osuna's throw to first to end this one. Rays put up a battle in the 9th inning. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits, a home run by Dickerson and the RBI base hit by Kiermaier. But they come up 2 runs short. They drop this one 5-3. Stroman's going to get the win. Archer the loss, and Osuna will pick up the save. So in the opening game of the brand new season, the Toronto Blue Jays defeat the Rays 5-3. We'll be with you tomorrow, Rays and Jays. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports Sun. For Ron Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not the outcome, more coverage to follow.